Welcome, everybody. So good to see everyone tonight. I'm really excited about our special guest. Geraldo is one of the best people that I've ever met in any company that I've ever worked on. Literally, every time I ask this guy to help us out or do something for our team, it's a rhetorical question because I know he's always going to say yes. But I politely ask him every single time, and he's in the middle of a move right now. He's in a new house and been moving all weekend. I said, "Hey, I would really love for you to do this call." And I like to bring corporate in with these things. And Geraldo's a big reason why what we're going to talk about tonight is happening because we've been having a lot of sidebar conversations with Geraldo because the Latin market is growing so fast, and the company wants to get in all these markets, and so. They've sat down, strategized, try to figure out exactly how they can, you know, help us do what we want to do and help us grow, which I think is just the coolest thing about this company is most companies I've always worked with, the first response is always no. And the first response with LifeWave is let us see if we can figure it out. And they always go to work and always come through. And not just in direct sales, but every company I've been worked in Fortune 50 companies, and always the response is no. And then if they do say yes, it takes years, not months, not weeks. And literally, this was something that Geraldo and I talked about in February, and they've been working on this and moved really, really quickly. And so I'm really excited, Ronald, that you're going to talk to us about tonight how we can kind of get in Latam and be able to start to promote this product, promote this opportunity. And you guys are giving us that ability with some guardrails to be able to do that. So, Geraldo, thank you for taking your time to take your moving gear off and put your business clothes on and be on here with us tonight, as well as my wife wants to say a few things of gratitude as well. But guys, listen, we are a part of a company that is just so special and so amazing to be a part of, and we're really, really blessed to have Geraldo on our team and in our organization. And literally, this guy is the most responsive human being on the planet. And so, Geraldo, I just want to thank you myself, and I'm sure my wife has a few words for the team and you as well.
Hola, hola equipo, ¿cómo
Hi,
están?
hi, team. How are you
Muy
doing,
bien, bueno,
Gerardo?
ya lo dijo
You
todo
can
Jay, es un
imagine. Well,
placer
Jay already said
enorme que estés
everything. It's
aquí.
such a
Gracias,
pleasure, such
gracias,
an honor
gracias.
to
No
have you
puedo
here.
imaginar
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
que
I
estás en medio
cannot
de un caos y
imagine
bueno, estás
in the
aquí
middle of your chaos
apoyándonos
that you're
a hacer esta
here still
llamada porque
supporting
bueno,
us
como
with this
sabes,
call because,
hacemos
as you
la
know,
mayoría el negocio en
we
español y el hecho
most
de
of us
poder
work the
llegar a
business in
Latinoamérica
Spanish,
es
and to be
algo
able
muy
to reach
grande,
Latin
muy
America
positivo para
is
nuestro
something
equipo y
enormous
queremos que
and
tú
positive for our
que nos
team.
expliques
And who better than
absolutamente
you to
todo de cómo
explain
hacer y cómo
absolutely
poder
everything
crecer
of
ese
how we can
mercado
do
de la
it and how
mano
we
de
can
ustedes.
grow
Así
this
que
market
gracias por estar
by
aquí.
your hand. So thank you for being here.
No, muchísimas gracias,
No,
Jimena, Jay.
on the
Sé que
contrary,
Jay
Jimena,
está aprendiendo el
Jay, thank you so
español,
much for
¿verdad?
having me
Pero
here. I know that Jay is learning
esta noche
Spanish,
vamos a
but
aprovechar
tonight
y
we're going
compartir todo
to
en
take
español.
advantage
Pero,
of our
Jimena,
language
Jay,
and share everything
primeramente,
in Spanish.
felicidades por todo
Jimena,
lo que
Jay,
están
first of all,
haciendo
thank
ustedes.
you
Sé cuánto
and
esfuerzo,
congratulations for
amor y
everything that you're
cariño
doing. I
tienen
know how much
ustedes por su
effort,
equipo, por
love,
LifeWave,
and how much you
por
cherish your
la
team,
visión de David, que nos
LifeWave,
están ayudando a
David's
llevar esto
vision
a nuestros queridos
that you are
compañeros
bringing to
en
our dear
distintas partes de
partners in different
Latinoamérica
parts of Latin
y del
America
mundo, ¿verdad?
and the
Entonces,
world.
para mí es un honor
So
estar
for
aquí con
me,
todos
it's such an
ustedes esta
honor to
noche.
be here with all
Como
of you
mencionó
this
Jay y
evening.
Jimena, estoy en la mitad
Jay
de una
and
mudanza
Jimena
loquísima que hemos
told
tenido
you
en
that
los
I'm
últimos
in the
días.
middle
Solo
of a
tengo esto
crazy
hasta ahora en mi
moving.
oficina
I'm moving
y el
homes, and
escritorio.
this
De
is all I have in
preferencia que
my
esté un
office.
sonido
This and a
así en el
table.
salón,
That's
aquí
why you
donde
can hear a
estoy
bit of
en la
echo
oficina.
right now
Pero
in
para
my
mí es
office.
un
But for
honor
me, it's a
un
great
placer estar
honor
aquí con
and a
todos
pleasure to
ustedes
be able to
esta
be
noche,
here with
esta
all of you
tarde,
tonight,
donde
this
estén
evening,
por el mundo.
or wherever
Y
you
sí,
are in
tengo
the world.
algunas cosas
And yes,
importantes.
I
Creo
did
que
have a
estamos en
couple of
una fase muy
important things to
emocionante
say. I
aquí
think we're in a
en
very
LifeWave,
exciting phase here in
del
LifeWave
futuro de LifeWave
for the
que se
future
nos
of
viene. Nosotros
LifeWave that
somos
comes.
esos
And
pioneros de
we are
poder
those
llevar
pioneers
nuestro
of being
mensaje
able to
a toda
bring our
Latinoamérica.
message to
Entonces,
all
lo
of
que
Latin
quería hacer
America.
hoy
So, what I wanted to
brevemente
do today,
era
briefly,
compartir con todos
was to
ustedes
share with all
qué
of
podemos
you
hacer
what is
hoy
it that we
para
can do
empezar a
today
crear
to be able to
y
start
llevar
to
LifeWave
create
a
and
distintas
bring
partes
LifeWave to different
del
parts
mundo, pero
of the
especialmente
world.
sé que todos
But
aquí son de habla
especially, I know that
hispana
everyone
en
here is
Latinoamérica
Spanish speaking
específicamente.
in
¿Qué se puede
part
hacer?
of Latin America.
qué tenemos que
So
cuidar
what
en,
can we do?
en
What
no
do we have to
hacer
have
y poder
be
trabajar
careful
y
with
empezar
and
a
not doing,
introducir
and
nuestra
to start to
empresa
work and
a
introduce
tanta
our
gente que está
company
buscando
to
lo que
so many
nosotros
people who are
tenemos? Entonces, lo que voy a hacer muy
looking for what
brevemente,
we have.
no,
So what
no
I'm going
soy,
to
yo estoy
briefly
en el
do,
área de ventas de la
I
empresa,
am
soy
in
el
the
gerente de
sales
ventas para
part
la
of the
costa
company.
este de los
I'm
Estados Unidos
the
y también para
regional
el mercado
sales
hispano
manager of
aquí
the East
desde
Coast of
Estados
the
Unidos
US
y
and the
Puerto
Hispanic
Rico,
market in
pero
the US and Puerto
no
Rico.
soy una
But
persona muy
I
de
am
marketing.
not a
Entonces,
very
así
marketing
de
person.
crear cosas
So
bonitas, no, no sé
I'm
hacer
not
eso
a
con
creative person
aquí
that can
cuando hago
create
las
very beautiful
presentaciones,
things when
pero
I do
lo
presentations
importante
and
es
so on.
tener
But
como
anyway,
entender el
the
mensaje
important
y
thing
la
is that you are
información.
going to
Entonces,
understand the
voy a
message and the
compartir aquí
information. So
brevemente, si
let
me
me
dan
share briefly
permiso,
with you, if you give me
compartir
permission to
aquí mi
share, please,
pantalla.
my screen.
I'm just trying to share my screen.
There
Si
you
me
go.
Try.
You're
logré-
co-host already.
I'm co-host. Perfect. Ahí vamos. Ok.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
Excelente. Ahora, es
Excellent.
muy breve esto, pero creo que
Now,
tiene
this is
detalles
something
muy
very brief, but I
importantes que
think it has
podemos
very important
hablar ahora
details
en este
that
momento.
we can include
Entonces,
right
para
now.
que entiendan
So,
todos,
for
estamos, como
everyone to
mencioné, en una fase
understand,
muy
we are, as I
importante aquí en
mentioned, in a
Lifer
very
porque
important phase here in Lifeway
entendemos cuánta gente
because we
está
do understand
buscando
how many
la
people
oportunidad de
are
ser parte de
searching for
Lifeway,
the
de usar
opportunity
nuestra
of being part of
tecnología
Lifewave,
en
of
países
using our
donde quizás
technology
no estemos
in
en este
countries where
momento,
maybe we
pero
are not
en el
located
futuro
yet.
tenemos
But in
un
the
interés muy
future,
grande
we do
de,
have a
obvio, ir
very strong
a muchos,
interest in
muchos
obviously
países.
going to
Entonces,
many, many
como
countries.
compañía, como lo
So,
saben,
as
ya
a
estamos
company, as you
en
know,
negocio ya
we are
trabajando
already
21
in
años,
business
pero
working
lo que
for
vemos
21
en
years.
nuestro
But
pasado
what
como
we've
empresa,
seen from our
estamos en
past as a
Norteamérica, en
company, we are in North
Europa, en
America,
Asia, en
in Europe,
Australia,
in
pero hasta
Asia, in
ahora
Australia.
recién
But
estamos tocando
until
a
now,
África.
we are
Sudáfrica
just
está
starting to
creciendo muy
touch
bien,
Africa.
pero ¿qué es
South
lo que nos
Africa is
falta?
growing
Es
very
el
well. But
mercado
what
hispano,
are we
mercado
missing? The Hispanic, the
Latinoamérica. Para
Latin
aquellos que no me
American
conozcan, yo
market.
soy
For
nacido aquí
those
en
who don't
Estados
know me,
Unidos, pero soy de
I
mamá
was born in the
colombiana, mi papá es
US.
de
My mom is
Uruguay,
Colombian.
entonces
My
obvio
father is
tengo esa
from
sangre
Uruguay.
latina y
So
desde que
obviously, I
llegué a
have that
Lifer
Latin blood.
hace
And since
casi dos
I
años y medio ha sido un
arrived at
trabajo de
LifeWave
poder
almost two
ayudar a
years
la
and a half
empresa a
ago,
alinearse
it
con la
was a
salvación de
job
llevar
of
esto a
helping the
Latinoamérica
company to
y lo que
align,
estamos
bring
haciendo hoy
this to
es
Latin
empezando a
America.
tomar esos
And what we're
pasos
doing
que
today is
la
starting
compañía
to take
entiende la
those steps
oportunidad
that
que
finally
nosotros
the company
tenemos y el
understands the
potencial
opportunity that we
de
have
nuestro
and the
mercado
potential
latino
of our
para
Latin
Lifeway.
market
Entonces,
for
les digo
Lifeway.
de experiencia
So,
propia en
from
trabajar
my own
en este
experience
mercado,
working in this
les digo
market,
que lo que hemos hecho
I
nosotros
can
como
say that what
empresa
we've
hasta
done as a
este punto,
company until now,
Estados Unidos es el
the
mercado que tiene
US
ya
is the market that has
50-60%
already
de las
50 or
ventas mundiales de la
60%
empresa vienen
of
solamente de
the
Estados
world
Unidos.
sales
Y
of the
yo les
company
digo,
that come
con mi
only from the
experiencia, lo
US.
que yo he visto, lo que David está
And from what I can
haciendo
tell
para
you from
nosotros,
my
tener una
experience and what
oportunidad
David is
increíble,
doing
les
for
digo,
us, having an amazing
tenemos todo,
opportunity,
todo en nuestras manos para realmente hacer el
we
mercado
have
hispano
everything,
aún
everything in
más
our
grande que
hands to
hasta el
make
propio
the
Estados Unidos
Hispanic
lo queremos
market
hacer. Tenemos
even
ese
bigger
potencial
than the
de hasta
market
superar
in
lo
the
que hemos
US. We
hecho
have that
en los
potential
últimos 20
to
años como
even
empresa, hacerlo
surpass what we've
solamente
done in the last
dentro
20
de nuestro
years as a
mercado
company and do that
hispano.
only
Entonces,
in our
obvio, como
Hispanic
yo,
market.
mi esfuerzo en
So
este momento es
obviously,
estar bien
my effort right
alineados
now is to be
con
very
líderes
well
increíbles como
aligned with
Jimena, como
amazing
Jay y
leaders like
otros que están
Jimena, like
trabajando para
Jay,
llevar esta
and
visión
others
y
that are
ayudarnos y
working
apoyarnos en
to
llevar esto
take that
al
vision
resto de
and help
Latinoamérica.
us and
Entonces,
support
con
us
esto
to bring
dicho,
it to
lo
the
que
rest
quería
of Latin
compartir con
America.
ustedes
So having
brevemente para
said
que
this, what I want to share with
entiendan
you very
qué
briefly
son
for you to
países
understand
autorizados o
what
países que
are
están en este
authorized
momento
countries or
abiertos con
countries that
apoyo,
are
qué son países
open currently
emergentes,
with
qué
support,
son
what are
países sin
emergent
apoyo, que
countries,
quizás
and
no
what are
estemos en esos
countries that do
países
not
todavía,
have
pero qué
support,
se
that
puede
maybe we're
hacer
not in
dentro
those
de estos
countries yet,
países.
but
Y
what can
quería
be done in those
explicarles muy
countries.
brevemente
And
qué
I
se tienen
want
que
to
hacer, qué son los
explain
pasos
very
necesarios.
briefly what we
Si
have to
ustedes
do.
tienen a alguien
What
en
are
un
the steps
país
we need to
en el
take
exterior donde
if you
quizás no
have
estemos
someone
hoy
in
en
a
día,
country
pero
where we are not
el
currently?
potencial de
I want
abrir,
to tell you what is a potential
qué podemos estar haciendo
that there can be
socios de negocio en otros países. Entonces,
for the
primeramente para
future in those
explicarles,
countries. So
en
first of
este
all,
momento tenemos lo
let
que
me
yo
explain that
diría
right now we have what I would
seis tipos
call
de países
6
en
types
este
of
momento.
countries
El
currently.
primer tipo
The
es
first
países
type of country
autorizados.
are
Países
authorized
autorizados
countries.
son como
authorized countries are like the US, for example, a country that is 100% open in business. It is totally registered with payments and
Ahora,
everything
tenemos
is
países que se
organized
llaman
in
países
depth.
con
Now we have other
acuerdos, pero que
countries that are
todavía no
called
son
countries with
países
support.
autorizados.
They
¿Qué
are
es la
not
diferencia?
authorized countries
La
yet. What is the
diferencia
difference?
es que hay
The
países donde
difference is that there
actualmente
are some
quizás no se ha
countries where
abierto el
currently
mercado para hacer el
maybe the
negocio
market isn't
al
open to work the
100%, pero la
business at
compañía ya
100%,
está
but the
enviando producto
company is
a esos
already
países.
sending
Eso es
product
lo
to
que
those
nosotros
countries. That
llamamos
is what we
NFR
call
o not for resale.
NFR,
Esos son
or
más
not
para que la
for
gente que
resale.
están en esos países
Those
que quieren
are so
consumir,
that the
usar el
people that
producto,
want to
pero
use the
quizás en
pads
ese
in those
momento no esté
countries, but maybe
100%
right now
abierto
the
para hacer el
country isn't
negocio.
open at
Ahí
100%
lo que
to
después
work the
vemos,
business yet. After
son los
that, what
países
we have
emergentes.
are
Estos
the
son países
emerging
donde la
countries.
empresa ya
These
tiene
are
un
countries
interés
where the company
en
already
empezar a
has
tomar
an
los pasos para
interest in
abrir
starting
ese
to take the
país
steps to
y
open up the
convertir ese
country
país de
and
país
to convert
emergente
that country
a
from an
país
emergent
autorizado o país abierto.
country to an
Entonces,
authorized or
tenemos
open
varios países, sé que
country.
muchos de
So
ustedes
we
ya
have
han hecho
different
las
countries
preguntas,
there. I
¿cómo
know that
visitar
you've
a tal
already
país y
asked,
tal
when are we
país?
going
Y les
to
digo,
launch in
tenemos varios
this
países que
country or
ya
that
están
market? We do
en
have a
nuestro
few
radar
countries that
para
are
nosotros
in our
tomar esos
radar
pasos muy
already for us
importantes
to be able
de
to take those
poder
very important
llevarlo de
steps
país emergente a
to
país
bring the country
autorizados.
from
Pero como
emergent
ustedes
to
saben, cada
authorized. But as
país
you know,
es distinto,
each country
las
is different,
regulaciones,
the
las leyes
legislation
son
is
diferentes.
different.
Entonces, cada país tiene
So
sus
each
requisitos que
country has
nosotros
its
como
own
empresa nos
requirements that as
encargamos
a
de
company, we
asegurarnos de
are in
hacer todos
charge
los
of
registros
making
de
sure
forma
to comply with
correcta,
all
de
the
seguir las
legislation
leyes
correctly,
y las
to follow
regulaciones de
the
cada
laws
país.
and
Entonces,
regulations
de
of
ahí
each
nos vamos
country
a países que
and
son
register
sin
correctly. So
apoyo.
after that, we
Y esos
go to
países son
countries that
donde
do not have
nosotros en ese
support.
momento
Those are
no
countries
podemos
where at this
estar
time we
enviando
cannot
producto
be
como empresa, pero
sending
si
product
ustedes
as
tienen
a company.
contacto, si hay
But if
forma que ustedes
you
tienen
have contact,
una
if there
empresa que
is a
quizás le
way
voy a hablar
for
aquí
you
abajo,
to have a
una
company,
empresa
let me
de como
talk
agentes de
about this.
carga
A company
o
like
lo que también llaman como
that has how do you call
empresas
these?
así como casilleros también, que ellos reciben el producto y lo envían a otros países.
Warehouse
Tenemos una
companies. They
opción
receive
para
the product
trabajar
and they send them to other
con
countries.
ellos
Then we
para
do
que el
have the
producto
option to
llegue
work
a
with those
países que
warehouse
quizás en ese
countries.
momento nosotros
So
como
the
empresa
product
no
can reach
estemos
countries that maybe as a
enviando
company
producto a
we
esos
are not
países porque
sending
no tenemos
product
el
to at the
apoyo
moment because we
logístico,
don't have the
pero si
logistic
ustedes
support
tienen
yet.
esa forma
But if
de que
you
el
have
producto
that
llegue a
way
ese
to make
país,
the product reach
tenemos
this
los pasos
country,
necesarios
then we
para
have
que
the
se pueda
necessary
lograr
steps
eso.
to be able to achieve that.
Entonces, lo más importante
So
en
the
todo eso,
most
cuando estamos
important thing
viendo
in
en
all
una fase
this,
como que
we
estamos en
are in
este
a phase
momento,
like the
es
one that
de
we're in right
que
now,
nosotros podamos
is
estar
that
alineados
we
con la
should be able
empresa
to be aligned
y
with the
sepamos
company
exactamente qué
and
se puede
know
hacer
exactly
y qué
what it
no
is
se
that
puede
can be
hacer.
done and what
Entonces, en
cannot
este
be done.
momento,
So
que
at
ustedes
this
puedan
moment,
ver en nuestra
if
página de
you were to see in our
lifewave.com, les aparece
lifewave.com
una lista
webpage,
bien larga de
you can see
muchos
a very
países
long list
alrededor del
of a lot of
mundo.
countries
Actualmente
around the world
aparecen
where
los nombres de
currently
esos países
you
donde
see
nosotros
the
estamos
names
ya
of those
haciendo
countries
negocios,
where we are
siendo
already
países
working the
autorizados
business,
o siendo
being
países
authorized
que
countries,
tienen apoyo, pero
or
en el momento
countries
no
that
están
have support
100%
but at the moment
abiertos.
are not
Lo que no
100%
aparece y se
authorized
van a
yet.
dar cuenta
What we
que
cannot
muchos de
see,
los países de
and you're going to see,
Latinoamérica,
is that many of the
fuera
Latin
México
American
y si
countries,
contamos también Puerto Rico,
without
fuera México y Puerto Rico
counting
no
Mexico or
aparecen los
Puerto
nombres de
Rico, you
Latinoamérica
don't see the
en este
names of
momento.
Latin America
Entonces,
there
así
at
es
the
como
moment.
nosotros
So
sabemos que en
this
el
is a
momento
way
es
that
un
we
país que
know
es
that at
o
this moment
país
it
emergente
is
o
either
país
an
sin
emerging
apoyo.
country
Entonces, en ese
or a
momento
country
hay
that
una
doesn't have any
opción
support.
que
So at
ustedes
that
que
moment,
tienen
there is an
contactos en algunos de
option
esos países
to
que puedan seguir
start
estos
making
pasos que
contacts
les
in
voy a
those
compartir en
countries
este
that can
momento
help to
y de
follow
esa
those steps
forma
that I'm going to
pueden
share right now.
tener gente en esos
And
países, sus
that way you can
contactos,
have
amigos,
people in
quien
those
sea
countries
que
or
tengan en
contacts,
esos
friends, or
países
whoever
puedan
that you have in
empezar
those
a
countries
recibir los
that
beneficios del
can start
producto,
receiving
si
the
tienen
benefits
interés
for the
empezar a
product
generar
if
un
they
ingreso
are
también a través de
interested
LifeWave,
in starting
tenemos
to
una opción para
generate
hacer eso,
an income through
pero en este
LifeWave. There is
momento,
also
siendo un
that
país
option.
emergente, un
But
país sin
at this
apoyo, lo
moment,
importante
being an
de tener
emerging
en
country
mente
without
es
support,
que
the
tenemos
important
que
thing
ser
that we have to have in
100%
mind is
transparentes
that
con
we
la
have to
gente
be
con quien le estemos
100%
hablando que
transparent with the
en este
people that we're
momento
talking to.
LifeWave no está en
That
esos
for them
países,
to know that
entonces por eso
at
tenemos que
this
seguir
time,
estos
LifeWave is
pasos
not
que
in
les voy
those
a compartir
countries,
ahora,
and that's why we have to
pero
follow these
que
steps that I'm going to
está en
share
el
right now.
radar de la empresa
But
desde
that it is in the radar of the company now that we're going to start to expand to Latin America. And depending on how the growth and the volume goes in those countries, as a corporation, we can identify the countries that are at the point where we can start creating
llevar
those
esos países
processes
para
and
hacer un
registrations
país
to bring
autorizado.
those
Entonces,
countries to
con
be
eso
authorized
dicho,
countries.
son muy
So,
sencillos los
having said
documentos que
that,
necesitamos. ¿Sí?
the documents that
Y
we
les
need
voy a
are
dar un ejemplo
very
en este
simple.
momento
And
porque
I'm
sé que
going
es un
to give you
país
an
que se
example
escucha
right now because I
muchísimo,
know
que
that it's a
digamos el
country that
país
you hear a lot
de
about.
mi madre, ¿verdad? Y
For
sé que es el
example,
país
my
de
mom's
Jimena
country,
también,
and I know that it's
de
Jimena's
Colombia, por
country
ejemplo.
too.
Colombia es un
For
país
example,
muy
Colombia.
que la
Colombia
gente está
is
pidiéndolo
a
ya hace un
country where
tiempo
people
de poder
are
abrir ese mercado.
requesting to be
Entonces,
able to open
si
that
yo tengo
market.
una persona,
So
digamos que
if I
tengo a mi
have a
primo en
person, imagine
Colombia,
I have
¿qué
my
puedo
cousin
hacer
in
yo para
Colombia.
que mi
What
primo
can I
consiga el
do for
producto si
my
él tiene
cousin
interés
to get his
en
hands on
empezar
the
a
product if
desarrollar
he's interested
y
in
compartir
starting
LifeWave
to develop
con otras
and
personas
in
o en
sharing
Colombia
LifeWave
o
with
en
other
otros países
people,
donde quizás
either in
ya
Colombia
estemos?
or in other
¿Qué
countries
necesita
where
mi
we might
primo
be at? What
darle
does
a la
my cousin
empresa
need
para que él pueda
to give the company
involucrarse y ser parte de
for it to
LifeWave?
be able
Y
to
aquí
involve
están los
him
documentos
and make him
que
part of
les puse
LifeWave?
aquí en el
And
medio
here
de
we
la
have the
pantalla.
documents that
Los documentos
I
que necesitamos es
am
una
showing you in the
copia
middle of the
de
screen.
o
We
su
need a copy
pasaporte
of
o
either your
la
passport
cédula,
or
algún
some
documento del
kind of
gobierno
official ID
que
from the
compruebe que es
government
una persona
that
real.
proves that it's
Yo
a
sé que
real
muchas
person.
veces hemos visto en
I know
otras
that many
empresas
times we've
y en
seen
otras
in other
oportunidades que la
companies
gente
and other
quiere
opportunities
quizás
that
asegurar
people
algunos
want
puestos
maybe
por si
to
acaso llega
assure
alguien y tome control de esa
their
posición
spaces in case
algún
somebody
día en el
arrives after
futuro.
and takes control of
Nosotros
that
como
space
empresas
in the future.
no podemos estar
As a company,
autorizando que se
we
haga eso.
cannot be
Tenemos una
authorizing
estructura
for this to
y
be done.
nuestra
We have a
estructura aquí en
structure,
LifeWave es
and our
muy,
structure here in
queremos
LifeWave
mantener la
is
integridad de la
very, we
estructura,
want to
entonces no
maintain
queremos
it
hacer ese tipo de cosas. Entonces, si nos
correctly. So
aseguramos
we
que es
can't do
una
that
persona
kind of
real,
things. So if
un
we
pasaporte,
can be
cédula,
assured
un
that it's a real
comprobante
person, a
que ellos son
passport, and
una persona
official
y a través
ID,
de esos
something that
documentos
proves that they
se
are a
comprueba eso.
person, and
También
through those documents
necesitamos un
that can be proven.
comprobante de
We
su
also need a
domicilio.
proof
Entonces, en
of
este caso,
your
si hay una cuenta de luz,
residency. In this
un
case, if
extracto
there
bancario,
is a bank
algo
account
que muestre que ellos
or
vivan en
a
su
power
domicilio
bill,
de su país.
something
En
that
este
proves
caso,
that
si
they
mi primo
live
vive en
in
Colombia, que nos
their
dé una copia de la
country.
cuenta de
For
luz o algo que
example, if
muestre su
they live in
nombre y su
Colombia,
dirección donde él
if
vive en Colombia.
they give you
Les doy un
the
ejemplo separado.
power
Si hay
bill,
una
you
persona
know
que
that they live in
quizás es
Colombia, for example.
extranjera,
Now, let me give
que
you
vive
another
dentro,
example.
digamos, de
If
Colombia,
there is
vamos a usar el
somebody that
ejemplo,
is
si yo
foreign,
soy
for
de
example, a
Venezuela
foreigner that lives in
y
Colombia,
estoy
for example,
viviendo en
I'm from
Colombia,
Venezuela and I'm living
la
in
única
Colombia.
diferencia es si
The
yo
only
soy
difference
extranjero
is
viviendo
that
en
if
este
I'm a
país que
foreigner
aún no
living in
está
that
abierto
country
como
that is
empresa,
not open
tenemos
yet,
que proveer
as a
algún
company, we
documento
need to
que muestre que
provide
yo estoy
some sort of
autorizado en
document
estar
that
viviendo
proves
en
that I am
Colombia. Yo puedo
authorized to
mostrar
live in Colombia.
una
So
visa
I
o
can
también
show
una
a
cédula
visa
o lo que sea, algún
or some
documento
kind of
mostrando que yo estoy
ID
autorizado
from
en estar en
immigration that
Colombia.
proves that I'm
Ahí
authorized to
está
be in
bien también.
Colombia. That
Les quiero poner así una
is fine
estrellita
if
aquí
by
al
doing that.
lado
Okay, so I
en
want
el
to put
momento
in
que hay
a
dos
little
países
star
en este
here
momento
in
en
the moment
Latinoamérica
because
que
there are
en
two
el momento
countries
la
right now
compañía
in
me
Latin
está diciendo
America
que
that
no
the
podemos
company
estar
is
haciendo
saying that we
actividades.
cannot
Una
have
sería
business
Cuba
activity, and one would be
y la
Cuba,
otra sería con lo que
and
está
the other
sucediendo
one because of
políticamente
what
con
is
Venezuela.
happening
Venezuela
politically
es
with
el otro que
Venezuela.
tenemos
Venezuela
que
is the other
no
country
podemos
that
estar haciendo
we
ningún tipo de
cannot
contacto
be
dentro de
having any kind
Venezuela.
of contact
Pero
with
como
inside
sabemos, hay
Venezuela.
mucha gente
But as we
venezolana
know,
que en
there's a
este
lot of
momento está
Venezuelan
viviendo aquí en
people
Estados
that are
Unidos y en
currently
otros
living in the
países.
US and in
Si es
other
una persona
countries.
que es de Venezuela,
And if it's a person
sí
from
podría
Venezuela living outside
ser
Venezuela,
parte si
they
están viviendo en un
can
país
be part of the
afuera de
company as long as
Venezuela,
they are
mientras nos
residing
muestren
outside
el
Venezuela.
documento mostrando que
As
ellos
long as
están
they show
viviendo
us a
en ese
document
país,
of
el que
proof
sea,
that
que
proves their
está todo
country of
bien con
residency
sus
and that they are
documentos ahí,
legally
ellos
there,
pueden participar
they
con
can
nosotros aquí en LifeWave.
participate with us
Lo
here in
único que quería
LifeWave. The only
mencionarles
thing that I
aquí
did want
abajo,
to
lo que podemos
mention
ver,
here on
los
the bottom,
agentes
what
de
you can
carga
see,
o lo que nosotros
the
llamamos freight forwarders en
freight
inglés, sé que
forwarders.
también se llaman
I know
casilleros ahí en
that
ciertos
these are
lugares. Esos
the warehouse
son
company
empresas
in
que
some
ellos tú
places.
envías
Those
tu
are
producto a
companies that you
esas
can
agencias, ellos se
send the
encargan ahí de
product to those
recibir el
agencies. You
producto y lo
send it to them,
envían
they receive
a
the
tal
product,
país,
and
¿verdad?
they
Lo
resend it to
importante de
another
tener en
country.
cuenta
The
es que
important thing
como
to
son
take into
países que por
account
sí
is
apoyo,
that when these
nosotros
countries
como
do not have
empresa solo
support,
podemos
as a company, we can only guarantee or have the guarantee until the product reaches that agency or that freight carrier company. After the company is sent to a different country, which is not an authorized country currently or a supported country, there can be a risk. And as I said, I know that there are people who have done it and are doing it right now, and I haven't heard any stories, but there is a risk that a person from the customs is not having a good day suddenly and just might say, no, I'm going to deny this pack, or I'm going to make it wait here in customs until it gets into contact with the person. That can happen. I haven't heard about that until now. The good part about these products is that they're very light and small. They're not like enormous bottles or anything that we're sending. So that plays in our favor. And I think that's why I haven't heard of any of this going on at the moment. But outside of that, there are companies that easily you can search for to send the product for them to send it afterwards to the people in those countries. I know we don't have a lot of time. I would like to briefly show you how you can upload the documents to the virtual office or the back office of the foreign person. For example, my Colombian cousin, like I mentioned, my cousin in Colombia. What can my cousin do? There are two options at the moment that simplify the process. We are working right now to simplify the process even more because it is something so new. You are one of the first that are going to be listening to this information. So we are working to simplify the process. So I wanted to show you how. When a person decides to be part of LifeWave, they're going to enroll just like you did yourself. You're going to go to the page of your sponsor to register, but there are two options here. One option is to register normally. You purchase the pack, whichever one you want, and then you process the order. Like I said, if you're going to do this type of enrollment, the most important thing is that when the person enters the system, you have to immediately have those documents available to upload to the LifeWave profile. So this is how you do that, okay? You're going to complete your register, then you're going to enter your new back office here. I'm going to show you an example of how the back office works. You're going to click on their name up here, like you see with the arrow. You're going to see this small box, and at the bottom it's going to say change settings, and that's where you're going to click. When you click there, you're going to see this page that says the account settings in English. I don't remember how the name is in the Spanish version, but they're going to see the same thing, only that in Spanish. And at the bottom, you're going to see that it says secure document upload. Here is where you're going to click, and you're going to see this box here. And here is where you're going to just easily introduce the copy of your passport, the proof of residency. If you're a foreigner living, for example, in Colombia or in any other country, any document like the visa or something that proves that they are living in this country with authorization. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that if you're going to be using an address in the US and it's a person that wants to use and work the business and earn commissions, there is an additional document, but that's not going to be for everyone. But there is an additional document called W8BMM. B for Benjamin, E for Edward, N for November. W8. And that's a document for foreigners. All you have to do is fill out that document proving that they are foreigners that are going to be earning money with a US company, and then you upload that document to your profile, and that's it. That is the process. With those documents, the compliance department will verify everything, authorize it, and now your account is authorized and you can start purchasing normally. When you send or they send those documents, we are going to make the account current with the country of residency, with the residency of that country. So you can do a follow up and see who's purchasing more product, which country is making more volume, and that way we can identify what are the countries that are in the top of the list to move them as an authorized country, thanks to that tracking. So having said that, that's the information that I have for you today. I hope it makes sense. Right now, we're really excited that this is the first step as a company to
Lifeway
be able
a
to bring
Latinoamérica
Lifeway to Latin
y a
America.
medida que la gente
And
incorpore este proceso,
little by
ya
little,
podemos
as
identificar
people
los
start
países que van a
to
ser
move in this
los
process, we can
próximos
start
para
to
nosotros
identify
abrir
which
como
are the
empresa, pero
countries
les
that
digo,
are the most
en el lado
interesting for
corporativo
us
se
to
está
open
hablando
soon
muchísimo
as a
a
company.
nivel de
But
los
in the corporate
ejecutivos
level, I have
de
to
la
tell you that
empresa
in the
sobre
management area in the
Latinoamérica.
company,
Entonces
we're
les digo,
talking a
están en
lot
el
about
lugar
Latin
correcto en
America.
ese
So you
momento y
are in
llevar
the
esa
perfect
tecnología
moment
muy,
right now,
muy pronto
perfect place
aquí,
to bring our
llevándolo
technology very, very
a
soon
distintas
to
partes de
different
Latinoamérica.
parts of
Entonces, con esto
LATAM.
dicho,
So having
espero que
said
les
this,
haya
I hope
y les
that
hizo sentido y
this
con
made
eso dicho
sense.
le paso el
And
micrófono
I
a
pass
Jimena o a
the floor
Jay
to Jimena or to
para
Jay
seguir
to
la
Yeah,
charla.
continue with this meeting.
Geraldo, I just have a couple questions. Where do they get the
Yes.
W8 from?
Muy fácil.
Very
Preguntó Jay dónde
easy.
se
Jay
consigue
asked
ese
where you
documento de
get that
W8
document, the W8.
solo por Google.
Only on Google.
El IRS
It's that
Return es
easy. You go to
W8BBN,
IRS and you
ya les
type
aparece ahí y
W8
es un PDF
BBN.
y
It's a PDF.
se llena y
You
ahí
download
se
it, you
sube
fill it
a
in,
la página.
and you upload it to the web.
Okay,
Did you
and
catch
then
that, Jay?
do we have a list of countries that is on the website that we can see that's where we can or we can't do this in Latin America?
Muy buena,
That
very good
is a
question.
very
Buena
good
pregunta, Jay.
question. Very good
Jay
question, Jay.
pregunta si hay
So
una
Jay is
lista de
asking if
países.
there's a list
Estamos
of
trabajando
countries.
en
We
ese
are
momento.
actually
Entonces
working on
estamos
that right now.
organizando para nuestra
So we're
página
getting
tener
organized so we
una
can
lista de
have on our
países. Esa es
webpage a
la
list
parte de
of authorized
simplificar el
countries. That is a
proceso.
part of
Es que
simplifying
habrá una
the
opción,
process. Is that there's
estamos
going to
trabajando en
be an
eso, de tener
option. We're
una lista de
working on that and
países
having a
que
list
ya son
of
países
countries that are
autorizados,
already authorized
países
countries,
con apoyo y
countries with
países que
support,
aún son
and countries that
emergentes,
are
pero
still
para por lo
emerging,
menos tener,
but to at
empezar a
least be
eliminar
able to
algunos
have
pasos
and start
extras para
eliminating
abrir
some
la
extra
cuenta.
steps to
Entonces,
open the
se
account.
está
So,
trabajando en tener
yes,
una
we're working
lista
on having that
donde la gente
list
pueda
where people
identificar
can
qué
identify
países,
which
de qué tipo
countries of what
de país.
have what type
And,
of level.
and Aurora, who do you guys have a list of these shippers that you guys recommend that you guys know that other people are using? Can we get that on the site as well, just so people are not like, working with the wrong people and we're working with the right people?
Con esa pregunta, en el
With that
momento
question,
nosotros como empresa
right now,
tenemos
as a
una idea
company,
de los
we have
países o
a
de las
certain
empresas
idea
que
of
están
which
haciendo
companies
como
are
casilleros, están dando este
giving that
servicio.
shipper
En el
service,
momento no
giving
tenemos
this
una
freight
lista
carrier
fija, pero es
service,
algo
but
que
we don't have
podemos
a
hablar con
list
el
yet. It's
equipo
something
para
that we can
dárselo a
talk about with the
ustedes.
team to give it
En
to
el
you.
momento yo sé que aquí en la
Right
Florida hay
now,
muchas
I know that in
empresas
Florida,
muy,
there's a lot of
con mucha calidad
very
de servicio
high
que
quality
trabajan aquí en la
companies with good
Florida.
service that work
Pero
here in
deja que yo
Florida.
trabajo con el
But
equipo. En el
let me work
momento
with
no
the
tengo
team
una
about this
lista.
because right now we do
Nosotros
not have
sabemos
a
las
list. We
empresas
Yeah, that would
know.
be
solo
that
por,
would be helpful,
yeah,
Geraldo, even if we could put it on our website, just for people to have, ease of doing
recommended.
business and they could contact these people and then the only other question, and I think there's a couple other questions, is like, is there going to be some kind of process flow for like if someone signs up that it would be easy for people to follow? So there's like a kind of a step by step flow in the back office where if you're talking to somebody in Colombia, I got to get them in, I got to submit their documents, I got to have a shipper, and then the person's going to order it, they're going to send it to the shipper, like just a nice again, just to keep people out of trouble and keep people on the right track so that there's a nice SOP or a standard operating procedure or a nice process flow. I mean, again, I'm happy to do any of this for you guys or help with this process, but it just would be great if we had one document that everyone was working off of. I think it would be so much more
Sí,
simple for people to really kill this game if they had a step-by-step process flow.
exactamente, Jay. Sí, estamos
Exactly,
trabajando en
Jay.
este
Yes,
momento en
we are
tener
working
casi
right
como un
now on
checklist
having
de
almost a
cada
checklist
paso para
of
que la
each
gente sepa
step so people
exactamente
know exactly
cómo se hace el
how
proceso. Entonces,
they
estamos
do the
trabajando. Esto,
process,
como les mencioné, es
how they
muy, muy
navigate the process.
nuevo,
So as I
pero
mentioned,
yo
this is
estaba
very,
ya,
very new,
el
but we
departamento
are
legal
already
les
working
ha
with a
visto,
legal
tenemos
department and we're
ya una urgencia,
speeding them
pero
up.
ahora
We told them
estamos
this has to be
consiguiendo los
expedited and
documentos y todo
urgent,
para
and
poder
we are preparing
apoyarlos
all the
aún más,
documents
pero
to
sé que la
support you
gente está
even
muy
more. But I know
interesada
that people are
ya
very
empezar,
interested in
entonces queríamos
starting.
por lo menos ya
So we
pasarle
wanted
los
to at
detalles, pero
least give
sí,
you the
documentos y
details.
eso
But
va a
yes,
estar
documents and
disponible.
so on will be available.
Y yo tengo una
Awesome.
pregunta, Gerardo,
And
porque
I have a
pusieron en el
question,
chat y
Haroldo,
obviamente
because
yo
they asked in the
necesito
chat,
saber
and
también.
obviously
¿Hay
I
fecha
also need to
estimada
know,
ya
is there
de
an
para cuándo
estimated
vamos a
date
abrir
already for
Colombia
when
con
we're opening
toda? O sea,
Colombia
sin necesidad de todo este proceso,
without
o
the need
todavía
of all
no
this
se sabe.
process, or don't we know
Mira,
yet?
Fecha todavía no,
Look,
pero
we
sí
don't
les puedo
have a
decir que
date
si vemos
yet,
la
but I
lista de
can tell
países,
you that if we
Colombia
see the
está
list of
bien, bien
countries,
arriba de
Colombia
esa lista
is
para
on the
ser
top of that
uno de los
list
próximos.
to be
Entonces,
one of the
la
next
fecha todavía
countries.
no, porque hay
So
ciertos,
we don't have
Colombia
a
es un
date yet
país que
because
tiene
Colombia
ciertos
is a
requisitos
country
que
that has
otros
certain
países no
requirements that
tienen. Por
other
ejemplo, en
countries do not
Colombia,
have. Like, for
uno de los
example, in
requisitos es
Colombia,
que uno tiene que
one
tener una
of the
oficina física
requirements
con
is
por lo
having a
menos
physical
dos empleados,
office
si recuerdo
with
bien,
at
dentro
least two
del país.
employees, I
Entonces, son
remember,
ciertos
in the
requisitos que
country.
estamos,
So it's
obvio, nosotros
certain requirements
actualizando
that obviously
documentos y
we
todo y
are updating
asegurándonos
in
que se haga
documents and
de
so
forma bien
on
hecha.
to
Entonces,
make to
no
do
tengo
things
fecha
right.
todavía, pero a
So I
medida
don't
que
have a
tengamos
date
más
yet, but
información les
once we have
vamos
more
avisando, pero sí les
information,
digo,
we
Colombia es
will notify you. But Colombia
prioridad.
is top
Muy,
priority.
muy alta la prioridad en Colombia.
Yay,
Bueno, la
Lo
pregunta
deben
de
amazing.
cantar.
Well,
Ecuador,
they are asking about
Ecuador,
Ecuador,
Argentina, bueno,
Argentina.
Argentina.
Y
República
eso todo va a
Dominicana
depender,
también.
eso va todo a depender de
That is
ustedes, ¿verdad?
all
Porque
going to
ahora
depend
tenemos
on
una
you,
opción de por lo
right? Because
menos
now we
ahora
have the
tener
option of at
direcciones
least to
actualizadas de cada
have
persona en su
current
país de
addresses of each person
residencia. Entonces ahí
interested
podemos ver
in
qué
their
está
country of
haciendo
residency.
Argentina,
And we
qué
have
está
a
haciendo
tracker
Chile
and we
en
can see what's
volumen.
Argentina
Y de
doing,
esa
what's
forma
Chile
podemos más
doing in
fácilmente
volume.
ir
And that way we
identificando
can
los
easier
países que van
identify the
en orden,
countries
¿verdad?
which
Porque
are in that
ya lo he
order,
visto muchas
right?
veces en
Because
el
I've seen
pasado
it
en
many
otras
times
empresas
in
donde
the
trabajé,
past in
donde
other
se
companies
abrió un
where I worked,
poco
where they
así
opened the
prematuro el
market a bit
mercado y terminó no
prematurely
teniendo así el éxito
and
que
they
esperábamos.
ended up
Entonces
not
queremos
having the
asegurarnos de
success that we
tener,
were
obvio, ya
expecting. So we
estamos teniendo
want to make
líderes
sure that we
increíbles, ya
have,
tenemos
obviously, we have incredible
líderes muy, muy
leaders,
buenos en esa
very
llamada
good leaders
y obvio
in
que
this
nosotros como
call.
empresa eso es el primer
And
paso
as a
para empezar
country, this is the
echándole el
first
ojo
step
qué
to start
país
to
está
identify
produciendo
which
más
countries are
para ir
producing
nosotros
more
a hacer nuestra parte
to be able to
de invertir del
do our
tiempo,
part
de
of
energía,
investing our
de
time, our
recursos
energy,
para
and
abrir
our
ese mercado.
resources
Entonces,
to open
estos
that
son
market.
así los
So
pasos que
those
estamos
are the
dando
steps that
inicio
we are
para una
taking
expansión
initially
muy, muy
for
fuerte
a
para
very
Latinoamérica.
strong expansion in
Súper. Bueno, ya
LATAM.
sabes que aquí tienes una colombiana
Super. Well,
que
here
puedes
you know you
contar
have a
conmigo para
Colombian
abrir
that you can
mercado.
count on to open
Buenísimo.
market. Okay,
Baby,
amazing.
are there any other questions before we let Geraldo go?
No, we don't. You know what? I would like to just something different. Solo una
And
cosita.
just one thing,
Gerardo, que me encantaría salir,
Haroldo,
o
that I
sea,
would love
salirnos un poco del tema de
to
Latinoamérica, porque
leave a
estamos
bit the
impulsando muchísimo el
LATAM
equipo que
topic
vaya a la
aside because we're
conferencia
boosting the
en
team a
octubre.
lot to go
Quiero que
to the
escuches de ti
conference
por qué
in
es tan
October.
importante
I
que
want them
vayan.
to
Yo
hear
sé
from
que
you. Why
cuando
is
yo
it so
fui,
important for
me
them to go?
impactó.
I know that when
Fue
I went,
una
it made an
transformación, o
impact in my
sea,
life. It
la
was a
verdad que ver
transformation for
y
me.
escuchar a David
Truthfully,
Smith
seeing
en
and
persona,
hearing David Smith
yo me
in
quedé con la boca
person,
abierta
I was
y
left
yo sé que
mouth
de
open.
pronto
And
uno
I
lo
know
dice,
that
¿verdad?
sometimes you just
Pero
talk
cuando
about
uno está
it,
ahí
but when
presente,
you're
sales
there
con una
feeling
emoción
that
completamente
present,
diferente y no
you leave
solamente la
with a
emoción, sino
very
que te
different
das cuenta de
excitement,
lo
and
que
not only the
realmente es
excitement, but you
parte
realize what you
de,
truly are
¿no?
part of.
Entonces, nada, que
So,
los invites
well,
a todas las personas que
I
estamos
would
acá
like to know
a
if you
que nos
could invite
acompañen a
everyone
esta
here
maravillosa
to
conferencia.
come
Yo sé
with
que
us
voy a
to this
estar allá
amazing
también.
conference. I know you will
Y
be
bueno,
there
nada,
too,
y que estemos todos allá y
and
compartamos
for
como
us to all
equipo.
be there together
Sí,
sharing as
sí.
a team.
Bueno, ya hiciste trabajo excelente,
Yes,
Jimena,
you already did that
en
amazing
darnos
job,
una idea cómo
Jimena,
va a
in
ser el
giving us
evento.
an
De mi
idea of
parte
how
les
the
digo, va a
event
ser
will be on my
un
side.
evento
I can let you
increíble.
know that it's going to be
Mucha
an
gente, yo sé que
amazing
Jay y Jimena,
event.
ustedes
Many
ya
people,
saben,
I
no
know
sé si
that
el resto
Jay
del
and
equipo
Jimena,
sabe
I don't know
todavía,
the rest of the
pero
team know
estamos
yet, but
organizando
we
nuestro
are
primer
organizing
evento
our
de
first
lanzamiento de
launch
mercado
event
hispano en
for
esta
the
conferencia.
Hispanic market
Nunca se ha
in that
hecho a nivel
conference. That
corporativo
had
un
never
evento
been done at a
específicamente para
corporate
los
level, an
latinos.
event
Se va a hacer en
specifically
este
just for
evento
Latins
el
that is
día
going to be
23 de
at that
octubre, que
event
es el
on
jueves,
October
que es el primer
23rd,
día del evento.
which is
Obvio, nos dieron
Thursday,
la
the
prioridad,
first
¿verdad?
day of
Para
the
empezar
event. Hey,
el
they gave us
primer día del evento
priority starting
con
the
un evento
first day of the
latino.
event with a
Muy, muy
Latin
pronto ya estamos
event
trabajando con
that
el
is going
equipo de
to, we are
eventos
already
para
working
tener
with
un
the event
registro,
team
para
to
ver quién
have
viene
a register
y todos
to
los detalles del
know who
evento.
is
En este
coming and
momento,
all the
los planes
details
es de
of this
empezar a las
event.
10 de la
So
mañana
right
del
now the
jueves,
plan is to
ir hasta
start
4 de la tarde
at 10 a.m. on
de
Thursday
ese mismo día.
and leave
Y va a ser un
and
evento
finish at 4
de
that same day. And
capacitación,
it's going to be
de
an event
visión
for training,
corporativa.
for
Estamos
corporate
trabajando para
vision.
tener el propio
We
David
are
Meredith
working to
Denis,
have
nuestros
David
líderes
Meredith
ejecutivos en
Janine and all the executives at that event too. Obviously, recognition, celebration, celebrating together as the Hispanic market. and
dentro del mercado
having this
hispano y
official
a
launch
partir de eso,
inside the
2
Hispanic
semanas
market.
después
And
estamos
after that,
organizando
2 weeks
la primera
later,
gira
we are
latina
going to organize our first
dentro de Estados
Latin
Unidos,
tour
México y
inside the
Puerto Rico.
US,
Entonces, vamos a
Mexico,
salir
and
con
Puerto
mucha
Rico.
emoción de ese
So we're
evento.
going to
Obvio, vamos
finish
a
that
que
event
David
very
está, les
excited.
digo,
Obviously,
organizando un
David
evento
is
que van a salir de ese
organizing an
evento
event that you
entendiendo la
are
visión de
going
la
to
empresa,
leave that event
viendo
understanding the
la
vision
visión
of the company,
nuestra como
understanding
mercado
our
hispano,
vision as a Hispanic
el lado
market,
de capacitándose en entender
training
mejor la
in
tecnología que nosotros
understanding
tenemos como
better the
empresa
technology
y
that
la
we have
oportunidad que
as a
tenemos en
company
nuestras
and
manos
the
de
opportunity
ser
that we
distribuidores
have in the
de
palms of our
LifeWave,
hands to be the
aún en
first
el mundo,
from
pero
LifeWave,
específicamente para el mercado
not
hispano,
only
que
in
va
the
a ser
world, but it's
increíble. Les digo,
specifically in the
la vida de
Hispanic
ustedes va a ser
market. So
totalmente
I
diferente
can tell
que
you
cuando
with
llegaron y cuando
total
salieron. Entonces les doy la
sincereness that
invitación, si
your
no
life is
tienen
going to be
las
different
entradas
after
todavía,
leaving. So if you
consigan
don't
sus
have
entradas
your
y los
tickets,
queremos ver a
go and
todos
get
allá
them.
con
We want to
nosotros
see
en
you all
California.
there with us in
Y un
California.
pajarito nos dijo algo bonito
And
que va
a
de
little
Netflix,
bird told us
que va a
something about
salir
a
por ahí.
Netflix documentary that is
Sí,
going to
el
come out.
pajarito les contó bien.
Yes, that
Sí,
is correct.
sí, eso también se va a estar anunciando
And
muy pronto
that is something that we are
y
going to
sí,
be
un
announcing
documental
very soon.
específicamente sobre la vida de David
Documentary
Smith y la
specifically
tecnología
about
que
the
nosotros
life of David
tenemos
Smith and the
aquí en LifeWave.
technology
Este va
that
a
we
ser
have here in
increíble y
Lifeway.
todo
So
el mundo va
that
a
little
tener la
bird told you
oportunidad de
well.
participar
And
en
it's going
esto.
to be amazing. Everybody's going to have the
Qué
opportunity to
emoción, qué
participate.
emoción. Haroldo, si te robo un
That is
minuto
so
más, nada más
exciting.
que Marga tiene una
Haroldo, can I
pregunta.
steal
Cuando
one more
cargamos los
minute? Margaret
documentos
has a
desde
question.
Colombia, ¿qué
When we
debo
upload the
esperar? ¿Un
documents
correo de
from
respuesta
Colombia,
que
do I have
digan
to
que
wait
ya
for
lo
an
recibieron?
email with a
¿Quiere decir que
response
ya
telling me
puedo
that
crecer mi
they
red
already
o
received
debo
it? Does that
esperar
mean
que
that
me
I can
digan si
grow
están
my
aprobados?
network or do I
¿Cómo
have
es
to
la
wait to
confusión?
be approved? I'm
Sí,
confused
si ellos
about that.
dicen que lo recibieron,
Look, if they
significa
said
que
they received it, it
ya
means
revisaron los
that they
documentos.
already checked the
Entonces ahí
documents. So
ya estaría
that
bien.
means that
Sí,
it's
si
okay to
falta algún
proceed.
documento,
If
ellos
there's
van
any
a
document missing,
responder y
they are
decir, ah,
going to
faltó tal
reply
documento.
telling you that you're
Entonces, sí,
missing
en
a
general
document. So
estarían
yes,
bien ya
in
cuando
general
compliance les
terms,
responda.
once compliant replies, it's
Buenísimo,
okay.
perfecto. Well, baby,
Perfect.
qué bueno.
Amazing. Jay, take it
Bueno,
away.
Haroldo,
Close it
gracias,
out.
gracias,
Geraldo, thank
gracias.
you, thank you, thank
De
you.
nada, hasta me
Geraldo.
tengo que
You
ir.
are
Mi hijo
welcome. I
tiene
have to
photo
go.
shoot
My son
de su
has a
equipo de
photo
fútbol
shoot of
ahora.
his
Vete,
Entonces
vete,
voy
football
vete.
soccer
Chao.
voy a
team right now.
escaparme.
Okay, thank you.
Muchas
Thank you
gracias a
so much,
todos. Les
Haroldo.
mando
You are
saludos.
absolutely amazing, man. Thank you for squeezing us in tonight and helping us. You are a complete rock star and love working with you. Thank you so much.
Likewise, you're welcome.
Bye,
Thanks, Jay. Gracias,
Gerardo.
Jimena. Gracias a todos. Chao,
Chao.
chao. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Equipo, bueno, ya saben, conferencia
Good
de
evening,
octubre,
team.
vamos
So,
para
you
allá,
know, we have
vamos
the
todos,
conference
vamos
in
a
October.
conocernos,
Let's
vamos a
all go
hacer
over there. Let's
contenido, vamos a
greet
crear,
each other. Let's meet. Let's
vamos a crear
create
esta comunidad que es
content.
tan
Let's create this
importante. Yo les
community that is
prometo que
so
cuando ustedes
important.
van
I
a este
promise you
tipo de eventos
that
que
when you
vienen
go to these
obviamente que están
kinds of
hechos por la
events that are coming
compañía,
up, obviously
ustedes
organized
van a
by the
entender
company,
cada vez
you're
más
going to
la
understand
visión
more and more the
específicamente de David
vision,
Smith, que es un
particularly
genio.
the vision of David Smith,
Y
who is
nada,
a
o sea, la gente
genius.
va a querer ser parte
And
de lo que
people are
ustedes
going
están
to
mostrando.
want to
Así
be
que
part of what
vayan si
you are
pueden
showing
invertir
them. So
en
if you're able
ustedes.
to
Créanme
invest
que
in
esto es una
yourself,
inversión para su
go over
negocio, para
there. Believe me,
crecerlo,
this
para
is an
ustedes mismos
investment for
crecer. Hay gente que
your
invierte un montón de plata
business to grow
para
it,
ir a
for
ver
you
a
to be able
estos
to grow. There are
speakers,
people who
¿verdad? Como
invest a
Tony
lot of money
Robbins,
to see
como,
these
bueno,
speakers
you
like
name it, todos los
Tony
que hay.
Robbins,
Esto
you
es una
name it,
inversión para
all the
ustedes y en donde
speakers.
vas a
This is an
aprender de las
investment for
mismas
you
personas que
where
están
you're
teniendo
going
éxito
to learn
dentro de
from
la
the same
compañía,
people who are being
invitados
successful in the
especiales, en
company.
fin, una cantidad de
Special
cosas. Así que
guests,
si pueden ir con
lot of an
nosotros,
amazing things. So
allá nos
if you're
vemos,
able to be
allá
with
vamos
us
a
there,
compartir
we will see
bueno,
you there.
nada,
We will be sharing
es
there.
algo
And
importante y
it's
quería como
something important
recalcarlo.
that I
Mi
wanted to
amor,
share.
adelante,
So, darling,
close it
please
up.
go ahead. You can close it up.
Yeah, and I would say like our dream is to spend time with you guys and have conversations with you guys. And there is a cruise at the company that you can earn in February. And that cruise you would have Jimena and I trapped on a boat for 5 days where you could spend time with us and we could help you build your business and we would actually get to have intimate conversations with you guys. So it's not that hard to earn a ticket. You need 85 points to earn that ticket. And that brings for people coming to the business, people ranking up, you holding your rank. So we would love to have as many people on that boat as we possibly can, especially from our team. I would like to have the biggest group there. And we would love to just spend time with you guys and really get to know each one of you very, very well through dinners, through lunches, whatever the case may be. We would love for you guys to make that trip with us. And I just want to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough for being a part of this movement
Sí.
with us and being a part of our team. And And we see each and every one of you guys as family, and we want all of you to be successful. We want to take you guys all to the top with us, and we need every single person on this team. We can't do it alone. If we're going to change the world, if we're going to impact the world, if we're going to change lives, Jimena and I can't do it alone. We need an army to do it, and I believe that we are building the correct army to do something really big and really bold in this industry. So thank you guys so much for joining
Ben,
tonight.
one second, I want to say something. Yo
Okay.
sé que Raquel va a
I
ir.
know that Raquel is
Cero,
going to
Raquel,
the
te veo.
cruise, right,
Ok,
Raquel? I
entonces
see you.
Isabel va a ir
I know that
también.
Isabel is
Isabel,
going to be there
¿verdad?
too.
Yo sé que Raquel
Isabel,
va.
right? You're
Todos,
going to be there
¿verdad?
too.
Todos vamos a
All of
calificar para
us,
ir.
we
Y
are
ya
all
para
going to
cerrar, solo una
qualify. And
gente,
to
hay una
close, sorry,
pregunta.
darling, for interrupting, but
Alguien
there
nos
is a question.
dice, para
Adriana
claro, el jueves
says,
vamos
I
a
just
tener
want to have this
capacitación
clear.
en
Are we
español
going
dentro de la
to have
conferencia. Sí, eso fue lo que
training
dijimos
in
para algo
Spanish
que va
in
a
the
ser
conference on
perfecto
Thursday?
porque es
Yes, that's what
solamente
Geraldo
español y
said, and it's
Yeah,
después
going to be
and there's
perfect
also
because
dominicarle.
there's
No,
interpretation the whole conference. So they have
eso iba a
headsets. I mean,
decir.
the whole
That's what I was
conference
going
is
to
going to be in
say.
Spanish. So the whole entire conference will be interpreted in Spanish. So it doesn't Thursday is going to be just for Hispanic, but Friday and Saturday is also going to be interpreted in your ears. So you're going to hear David, Meredith, Geraldo, all the executives, all the speakers on stage. You'll be able to understand and hear everything at this conference. They are
Sí.
catering to the Hispanic market because the Hispanic market is growing 400%. It's the fastest growing market inside of LifeWave. So they understand how important you guys are and how important we are. So
Ujú.
you're part of a company that really sees your value and cares about what you guys are doing.
Sin duda. Jueves en
there is
español.
no doubt from that.
Sí, toda
Thursday,
la
just in
conferencia
Spanish,
hay
and the whole
traducción,
conference is
interpretación. Allá van
interpreted
a ver
to
asiáticos,
Spanish.
van
There's
a ver,
going to be
mejor dicho,
also
de todos los,
interpretation
todos los países.
for
Así que
Asia, and there's
nada,
going to
chicos,
be people
enseñar
from a lot of
español.
countries.
He tratado
Somebody
durante 10 años. No
wrote,
sé qué más hacer. En
teach him
fin,
Spanish. Well,
baby,
I've
you have to
tried
learn
during 10
Spanish.
years, baby. You
I'm
need to
just
learn
joking.
Spanish.
Vaya
I'm
equipo,
just saying.
gracias.
So, team, thank you.
I know te amo, and that's all I need to know is te
That's
amo.
it.
So
Yes, it's true. It's true. Bye.
Bye.